Hi everybody, welcome back to Growing Up in Scientology. So this morning, Mike Rinder posted to his blog a fantastic endorsement of Mark Bunker for Clearwater City Council. If you regularly watch my channel, you already know who Mark Bunker is. I've done several videos with him recently. For those not yet familiar with him, I won't give him an introduction just now because Mike covers so much ground in this endorsement that he pretty much explains it all here. So I'm just going to read what Mike wrote. It feels like a slightly lazy idea for a video to read just something that somebody else wrote. But honestly, when I read this, it was so well written and so genuine that I just wanted to do my little part in getting this out to as many people as possible. So Mike's blog is, the web address is mikerendersblog.org. And if you just type Mike Rinder into Google, I'm pretty sure it's the top search result. The title of this blog post today is A New Golden Age for Clearwater. And here we go. It says, our friend Mark Bunker is in the news again, but this time it isn't about what Scientology is doing to fair game him. Some of you may have seen the announcement that Wise Beard Man intends to run for a seat on the Clearwater City Council. This was reported in the Tampa Bay Times yesterday. And there's many places in this blog post where Mike is linking to other articles. I'm going to include those links down below. So then Mike quotes the Tampa Bay Times article. Clearwater, Bunker said, has got a unique problem here in Scientology, and I think the city ought to balance it out with a unique council member who understands Scientology. And then Mike continues. Mark has a long history in Clearwater and a long history with Scientology. We discussed some of Mark's history in Scientology in these two episodes of Scientology and the Aftermath. And one of the episodes of the show was called Buying a Town, and the other one was Buying a Town Part 2. And I'll also include the links to these down below. Mike continues. Mark, though never a Scientologist, has a vast knowledge of Scientology policies and practices and up-close and personal experiences dealing with Scientology. Over the years, many people have run for office in Clearwater, most with the idea that they cannot and must not offend Scientologists by offering any sort of opinion about them at all. Back in the 70s and 80s, things were different when Gabe Cesaris, if I say that last name wrong, I apologize. Gabe Cesaris was mayor. If you don't know what happened to Gabe Cesaris, watch the shows linked above or Google his name. Since the city was sued by Scientology and lost, the status quo has been to publicly play footsies with Scientology while seething about them behind closed doors, and pretty much allow them to run roughshod over the community, doing as they pleased, buying properties at an alarming rate, even if they had no use for them, while they implied to politicians that if they fell into disfavor with Scientology, the voting bloc of Scientologists in the local community would ensure that they were not elected or re-elected. Mark Bunker has long since crossed the Rubicon when it comes to Scientology. He has publicly stated his objections to Scientology's abuses and bullying. He has been sued by Scientology. He has been followed. He has been framed. It is beyond doubt he is denominated an enemy of the cult, and according to Scientology policy, he is to be destroyed. For anyone who may be unaware of the official Scientology teachings on this, please read, and then he links to another article he'd written earlier. Please read Dealing with Critics of Scientology, the L. Ron Hubbard Playbook. Again, I'll put a link down below, which details exact quotes of L. Ron Hubbard that Scientology will follow with respect to Mark Bunker. This is Mike speaking, I have long believed that the voting bloc that Scientology claims to have in Clearwater is greatly exaggerated by them in order to gain political clout. Mark Bunker being on this ballot is going to test this theory. This will be the biggest turnout of Scientology voters for any Clearwater election in history. They will all be encouraged, quote unquote, to get out the vote. Even the local Sea Org members will be given time off to vote, and they hardly have time allocated to eat lunch. But conversely, I suspect that Mark Bunker's name in the ballot, as an avowed and unafraid critic of the abuses of Scientology, will encourage a lot of Clearwater voters to head to the polls. The election of one seat on the Clearwater City Council is going to become a referendum on how the citizens of Clearwater view Scientology. I predict record-breaking numbers voting next March. Electoral rules prevent any candidate from even attempting to qualify to appear on the ballot until September, 180 days before the March 2020 elections, and no fundraising can occur until that time. There are 2 of 5 city council seats and the mayor's office up for grabs. And actually, the mayor's seat is included in the 5 council seats. I'm skipping a little bit here. And then Mike says, I would not be surprised to see Scientology try to get a Scientologist to run for whichever seat Mark Bunker is not running for. It would be too embarrassing for a head-to-head showdown. What if Mark Bunker won? But you can expect to see dirty tricks and efforts to frame and smear Mark Bunker over the next 6 months. There will be claims that he violated the election laws, that he must be removed from the ballot. Internet sites will appear claiming that Mark is a sex pervert, a thief, a liar, a bigot, etc., etc. Scientology will wind up their surrogates and their hired help, Mary Repper, Wally Pope, Ed Armstrong, Catherine Cole, and whoever else they have these days, and send them out to do everything they can to scuttle him in the halls of power of local politics in Pinellas County. This announcement is no doubt doubly concerning for Miscavige because next year we'll also see the departure of his long-term buddies, City Manager Bill Horn and City Attorney Pam Aiken. He pops in to see them and have a friendly chat and believes they are his allies in the city. This is truly going to be a test of how much Scientology can influence the city and influence elections in Clearwater, and how much the citizens of Clearwater want to make their voices heard to install someone on the city council who has no fear of Scientology. If I lived in Clearwater, I would be casting my ballot Mark Bunker's way. Mike lives near Clearwater, but not technically in Clearwater. Knowing him personally, I can also attest to the fact that Mark is a thoughtful, gentle, decent, and highly intelligent man who has empathy for the well-being of others and a keen sense of fairness and justice. He is not a gimmick candidate. He is going to be a lightning rod concerning Scientology, which is a huge presence in Clearwater, but he will also be a great representative of the citizens of Clearwater in all respects. I intend to do what I can to help make every eligible voter aware that he is a fine candidate to represent their interests on the Clearwater City Council. What a fantastic endorsement. And over the next many months, we have between now and March 2020, I'm also going to be doing everything I can to get the word out, get the vote out, that this really is part of what I believe for the city of Clearwater coming up to kind of a line in the sand. Something needs to change. There are a lot of things happening right now all at the same time. Clearwater is about to dump a ton of money into a whole revitalization effort of its downtown area. And people not familiar with the area aren't going to really know what I'm talking about, but the downtown business district is right on the water, and we've got a huge park down there, and there's a huge bluff, and there's just a huge, massive renovation, landscaping, reorganization project going on down there called Imagine Clearwater. I think the whole thing's going to cost like $50 million. And it's really part of an effort to bring the downtown business district back to life. But what killed it in the first place was the presence of the Church of Scientology. And the Church of Scientology isn't exactly going anywhere. So something has to change. And one of those things, in my opinion, that has to change is the perception that Scientology controls downtown Clearwater. It's a perception. It's perfectly understandable where people have gotten this idea. Without question, Scientology owns a lot of real estate in downtown Clearwater. Without question, there are plenty of Scientologists that live in Clearwater. I know a lot of citizens of Clearwater have a concern. They believe that a lot of the downtown restaurants and bars and cafes are owned by Scientologists. And I've heard a lot of people have told me that they don't know which places are owned by Scientologists. They don't know which ones aren't, and they don't want their money going to the Church of Scientology. And so many people have just decided to not go downtown on a regular basis. Maybe they'll go downtown when the city's putting on an event or if there's a big concert down in the park. But on a day-to-day basis, most Clearwater citizens don't come downtown, and it has a lot to do with the Church of Scientology, its presence, and people's opinions, some incorrect opinions about what that means for downtown Clearwater. I know on a personal level, I spent a lot of time trying to put certain people's mind at ease that Scientology doesn't quite have as much influence as people think that it does. Scientology's put a lot of time and money into convincing people that it does have a lot of influence. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about actual influence, numbers, people, ability to get things done. We know that their money and their lawyers, they're able to scare people. They're able to intimidate people. There's not a whole lot of stuff in the present day and time to back that up. It's bluster. I mean, that's how I feel about it, and that is something I try to impart to other people. I did a video many months back that made a point that seems to be lost on many, which is that if Scientology actually had real influence, it would have been able to, at some point in its presence here in Clearwater, get a Scientologist elected to any office, some office, any office, doesn't matter which one. Some office in Clearwater or Pinellas County or the state of Florida. Well, guess what? Scientology has never been able to get any of its members elected to any office in this state, in this county, in this town. And apparently that has not been enough to demonstrate to people that Scientology really doesn't have the numbers and influence it has convinced everybody that it has. I thought, what's it going to take? What is it going to take to send the message, these guys are all bark, no bite? There's maybe 3,000 Scientologists living in the Clearwater, Tampa Bay area, and that includes the 1,000 staff members who are mostly foreigners and can't vote. If the fact that Scientology can't get any of its own members elected hasn't been enough to send that message, that they don't have influence, then perhaps showing that the Church of Scientology doesn't even have enough influence to stop someone from being elected. Because I think that's what politicians probably fear most, right? Not whether Scientology can help them get elected, but whether Scientology can stop them from being reelected. And I'm just so thankful that Mark has decided to do this and to run for city council. Because I have thought for some time now that the only way to finally send this message once and for all was to have somebody who's at or near the top of Scientology's enemies list, particularly locally, run for office and just prove that Scientology can't do a damn thing about it. So I'm going to be beating the drum for Mark Bunker very heavily between now and the time of the elections. I'm going to do everything I can to help him. And I'm going to be talking nonstop with locals in Clearwater to help them understand how important this election is for the city of Clearwater in regards to its relationship with the Church of Scientology. Putting someone on the city council who has already proven they are not afraid. One question I do get a lot from people, you know, whether it's people messaging me through the YouTube channel or just comments in the supporters of Leah Remini Facebook group, people say, what can I do? And I really have two answers, and I'm going to keep repeating these as often as I can, every opportunity that I can. One, come down to downtown Clearwater whenever you can and as often as you can. Scientology does not want you there. So what can you do? Go there. There is only one restaurant downtown owned by a Scientologist, and it's the shittiest one. It's not, you're not going to accidentally go in there. Please believe me. All the other places down there, I'm talking Clear Sky Cafe. There's a new place opening up called, I think it's Roxy's. And then you have a place opening up called Tequila's, like a Mexican bar grill restaurant place. And then you have a place right there called Downtown Pizza. And then you have a place opening up called the Black Brick Tavern. And then you have the Grindhouse Cafe. You have the Capitol Theater. And you've got Pour Yours Wine Bar. There's a lot of great places. A La Fondita. I don't want to, I'm afraid I'm accidentally leaving some places out. There's so many great places to come downtown. In fact, Mark Bunker and I said we've been doing some videos together. Just look on this channel. He and I have been doing a series of videos called Dining with SPs. And it's sort of been our cute little way to highlight different cafes and restaurants and bars in downtown Clearwater. And the wink wink in the videos is, hey guys, if this place is going to let us in here to eat and drink and record and, you know, leave us alone, anyone is welcome here. Come on down and join us. Give this place some of your business. So come on down to downtown Clearwater and vote for Mark Bunker. All right, that's all I got for now. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,